Hi guys, good evening. Guys, today we will discuss about Java Persistence API. Okay, JPA. In the last class in the Spring Boot, we have discussed how to execute one simple web application, how to create a Spring Boot project, and and how to even perform JUnit testing. Also, we have seen. Today we will see about Java Persistence API with the inbuilt memory database called H2, and we will also see how to work with a JSON and then your postman also by executing a queries from the Java application. Guys, the name itself indicates JPA, Java Persistence API. Okay. Yes, see here, Java data, Java Persistence API, Spring Data JPA. We call it as Spring Data JPA. Spring Data, Java Persistence API. This is an API, guys. JPA is a API which provides an interface or a bridge between Java application and database. This is exactly same like your JDBC template in your Spring framework. Spring framework in JDBC templates, using the JDBC template, what we were doing in a Spring framework, we were establishing the connection between your Java application and then database. Here also, Spring Data JPA provides an interface or a bridge between Java application and database. Guys, using JPA, we can perform data operations per entity. Entity means in the class. Guys, you're going to prepare one class. You're naming that class as an entity. Only for that class, you're doing a database operations. Means for that class, you're doing a CRUD operations. Means creating a table, updating a table, deleting a table. Okay, you're doing CRUD operations only on that class. That class we call it as an entity. So here, using JPA, you can perform all those CRUD operations per entity. Okay. Entity is a class on which we should perform CRUD operations in the database, and hence this class should be marked with at entity annotation. Guys, you're going to prepare one class. Okay. You're going to prepare one class, and for that class, you're doing CRUD operations on the database. That class we call it as a okay entity. So we should mark that class with a at entity operation. So JPA always do database operations per entity. Okay. To make use of Spring Data JPA, we should implement the interface called, guys, we should implement the interface called JPA repository. And this implementation class will bring us all the CRUD operations which we can perform on our entity. Guys, JPA repository is an interface. We should implement this interface, by extending, okay, and using that, JPA repository implemented class, you can perform database operations, with our external or internal database per entity. Okay, for example, you may have 3 to 4 entities every time at a time. Okay, by taking a entity name, you can perform CRUD operations per entity. Guys, first we'll do how your JPA. First, we will see how your JPA establishes the connection between our Java application and then internal database called H2. There is an internal database on our Spring Boot, right? That is H2. And then after that, we will see, how, we can perform a database operations from our Java application to your MySQL database and a Postman. Guys, you have, in order to, check for that, in order to establish your JPA, first, there are several steps. First step is create a Spring Boot project in STS. Guys, this is a say totally I have 5 steps here. In the 5 steps, I have given in detail. Go first, you have to create a Spring Boot project in STS. Okay, guys, let's go to the STS. You know how to create a Spring Boot project, isn't it? Go to the file, new Spring Starter project. Okay, go to the file, new Spring Starter project. I will give spring dot JPA repos. I will give JPA repos. Okay, here I will com.spring.jpa repos. Okay, leave your artifact ID demonstration for Spring Boot JPA. You can give your demonstration whatever you want. Okay, just click on next, guys. Guys, here, see, I want 2 dependencies. Yesterday, when I was doing web application, I was selecting Spring Web. Today, excuse me. Guys, today we will we are working with a JPA. So I need a dependency for JPA, and I want to show you how the SQL queries will be executed in the internal database called H2. So I need a H2 dependency also. First, I need a dependency for JPA, right? See, just type JPA. You will get Spring Data JPA. Select this one. I need to work with the internal memory database called H2. So type H2, you'll get H2 database here. See guys, you have selected two dependencies. Means you have selected two aspects here, and based on these aspects in pom.xml file, two dependencies will be added. That two dependencies will be picked by your maven, and it will download the required jar files for Spring Data JPA and H2 database. Just click on finish guys. See here, your project is creating, import getting started. You can see here, it is 26%. Guys, everything is fine now. See, you have created your Spring Data JPA repos. You can see here, Spring.jpa repos here. You just now created your Spring Boot project. Come to the, guys, come here. Let's come to the pom.xml file directly. Guys, you can see here, whatever the dependencies you have added there while creating a project, the same dependencies will be in the pom.xml file now. Yesterday I've told you Spring Boot starter test is the one dependency, and Spring Boot starter parent is the another dependency, which will be in the default in the pom.xml file. Other than that, dependencies will come based on whatever we add while creating. See here, Spring Boot starter JPA. Spring Boot starter JPA. Okay, we have added, and another one is here you can see com.h2 database. Okay, we have added two dependencies. Okay, in order to do database operations with the internal memory database using JPA API. Guys, after that, see, this is the first step. While creating a Spring Boot project is the first step. Second step, guys, go to the pom.xml file and add the dependency called Spring Boot Starter JPA in the pom.xml file, and which brings us all the dependencies required for the database operation. There is no need to add actually, because when I was creating itself, I have selected data JPA. If you want, you can copy this. Yes, guys, if you want, you can copy this and paste it. If you don't select initially while creating a Spring Boot project, but while creating a Spring Boot project itself, I have I have selected that JPA dependency, and it is successfully added also. So this dependency will be already in the pom.xml file. You can see here. See here, you can org.springframework.boot spring-boot started data JPA. So the dependency is already there. Okay, there is no need to add. If you don't select there initially in the pom.xml file, when you're creating a Spring Boot project, you can copy it and paste it in pom.xml file. Since we are selecting at the starting, while creating itself, there is no need to copy and paste it. Guys, third step. This is an important step, guys. Create the entity or a model class and initialize all the properties with the corresponding setters and getters. Guys, see here, you have to create an entity, because JPA is an API which performs the database operations either with the internal or external database operations per entity. JPA always creates a communication bridge between Java application and database. Using that bridge, you can perform CRUD operations or database operations per entity. Means you have to create an entity class. Means you are creating a simple class, okay, and with the three dependencies, and you're marking that with a entity annotation. Okay, so whenever you mark with a class with the entity annotation, JPA treats this class as an entity, and this per entity it will perform a CRUD operations. Guys, you can see here I have prepared one class. You know how to prepare a bean, right? I've just taken one class called student. I have taken one class called student, private int ID, private string name, private int test score. I have taken three primitive dependencies. I have generated, see here, I have generated setters and getters. I have generated setters and getters. What you can do is, let's go to the IDE. Same, guys, you come here. Guys, in the same package, what you can do is, in the same package, go to the, see here, new class, I want to keep that package. See here, this is a current package name, right? com.praveen9898.jpa repository. Here, what I will do is dot entity. I want to store that entity class in dot entity, guys, because see, make a habit of storing each and every different program. Either it may be entity, either it may be repository, either it may be controller class in different packages with the corresponding names. So it will be easy to understand. What I will do is com.praveen dot okay 9898.jpa repository dot entity. I will store, and class name I will give is, see, same class name I will give student. Okay, I will give the same class name called student. Guys, I don't want any main method or nothing like that. You just finish it. Guys, you can see com.praveen9898.jpa repository dot entity. Okay, in .jpa repository, there is a default program present. You know this. Okay, in this, okay, there is one annotation called our Spring Boot application. It is a combination of three annotations, and here itself your flow will start. So other than that, I want to store my entity class in separate package named with entity. See, the same package name I have taken with extension called entity. Come here, student.java. See, guys, okay, with how many it is primitive dependencies it is depending upon, you can see here, it is depending upon three primitive dependencies. I will take all these three primitive dependencies: private int id, private string name, private int test score for student. Okay, you just copy it, come back to the test class, paste it. Guys, now generate setters and getters method. Okay, setters and getters, but for this, how can we generate? Select it, go to the source, go to the source. Why? 1 minute. Yeah. Go to the source, generate setters and getters. Guys, generate setters and getters. I need setters and getters for all the fields. Okay, for all the three fields, generate it here. And guys, you just rearrange it. Rearrange it. Guys, now after preparing your test class, you have to name this class. Okay, you have to name this class with at entity annotation, because your JPA treats this as an entity, and per entity like this, okay, it will do a database operations. I will just annotate with at entity annotation. At entity annotation, just import it. Okay, after importing, guys, you have to also mark, guys, you have to also mark one of the field. Okay, one of the field, you have to also mark one of the field with id. Okay, with id annotation, because your JPA treats one of the ID as a primary ID. It needs an input called primary ID. Okay, I will show you when I'm creating that interface. It expects two inputs. One is, it expects two parameters. One is entity name and primary ID. Whichever the dependency you mark with at ID annotation, that will be treated as a primary ID. Okay, so I'm marking this private int ID as a primary ID, and this type should be given as a parameter to your JPA. Okay, you just see here, Control Shift. Oh, again, you just import it. Why it is not imported? Okay, it should be small letter. Guys, now save it. So you have prepared your entity class. Guys, here, this is the third step. Create the entity or a model class and initialize all the properties with the corresponding setters and getters. Guys, and this is the one of the important thing again. Create a new interface. Guys, create a new interface. and extend the JPA repository interface from the new interface. You have to create a new interface with your with own name, and you have to from that interface you have to extend JPA repository. Guys, JPA repository is the interface name. J should be capital, R should be capital, and there should not be any space between JPA and repository. And see here, I've extended public interface, guys, public interface JPA student repository. My interface name is JPA student repository extends. Okay, extends JPA repository. See guys, extend JPA repository means you can see here JPA repository. It is expecting two parameters. One is a entity name and another is a type of the primary ID. See here, entity name is a student, right? What is the entity name we have created? Okay, student. Type of the primary ID, you have to give a full type here, integer. What is the type? What is the dependency I have annotated with ID annotation? ID. Okay, see here. What is the type? Int. So you have to give it here as a integer. Okay, that's why one of the dependency you have to annotate with a at ID annotation. Guys, how do we implement this? See guys, same. Let's go to the same package, guys. Go to the new. Okay, go to the new. See guys, class. I will give class name as student repository. I will give class name as student repository. Guys, here there is add button, right? You can see there is an add button. Click on this add. You can search on, you can search for the interface called JPA repository. JPA. See here, you can search for the JPA repository. You just double click on this. Okay, double click on this JPA repository. Okay, and just click on this JPA repository and then click on OK here. See, you have added and then finish. Guys, you can see here public class student repository implements JPA repository in the PPT. Okay, it is an extents. Sorry, you have to make it as an implement. Guys, public class student repository implements JPA repository. See guys, it is expecting two parameters. One is entity name. This T is there now. This T is called entity name. This ID is called the, you have to give a type name. You have to give a type of the, okay, type of the dependency which you have annotated with at ID annotation. What is the entity name? My entity name is, my entity name is student, right? Because see guys, whatever the entity name you enter here in the JPA repository, that entity, for that particular entity, you can do a database operations. That is the meaning I have told. JPA repository is an API. JPA is an API which perform database operations per entity every time. Guys, integer. Okay, you have to give integer. Guys, you have to say student is a another entity which is present in some other class. So you have to import it. And student, okay, student repository is another interface. And it sorry, I have done a mistake. Guys, 1 minute. I will delete this whole thing. You should have taken interface. You should create an interface for that and you should implement it. Guys, let's come to the same package. We have created, okay, entity is over. Now guys, just come to the same new. You have to take an interface, sorry, not class, interface. Guys, dot entity. Instead of in this, instead of storing in the same package, I will store it in repos. Okay, I will store it in repos, and here I will give the name of the interface is student repository. Student repository. Guys, here I will add JPA repository. Finish. I will give this as student, entity name as a student, and ID I will give integer. Control Shift O, import it. Guys, now your JPA API is also, you have extended successfully, successfully extended another interface as well. You can see here in the above program, entity enter entity name as a student marked with at entity annotation and ID type as an integer. This is the type of the primary ID marked with at ID annotation in the entity class. This is the fourth step. You just now create a new interface and extend the JPA repository. We have done it. Okay. And here the last one, guys, you have to see, you have to do a test case. Means yesterday I've shown you how to write a test case and how to even see the results also. Today we will see the test case, and with that we will also observe. We will also observe what is the what are the background uh, what are the background queries which are executing with the H2 memory database. H2 is an inbuilt memory database. We don't have access to write our own queries, but we can see what are the queries executed in the background by creating an entity. Guys, now you have see, if you want to write any test case, you have to come to the test class, right? See here in the IDE, in the IDE here there is a one folder that is called source-test-java. In that there will be a applications test.java. Here only we have created our own test, right? See, it is annotated with that Spring Boot test, and here you're going to create own method now in the means test case. See how we have prepared is, guys, first private student JPA repository means you auto wire. See, we have extended the properties of JPA repository, right? We have extended the properties of JPA repository, okay, by giving our own name called JPA student repository there. In the sense, tell your container, you just tell your container to create a object of student repo, JPA student repository, and store that address in a repository, one of the reference variable. Using that reference variable, you can do any kind of operations. See, I have done here repository dot save. Okay, similarly repository dot delete. Under repository, we will have all the all the methods to perform CRUD operations. This this is a reference variable which will give us all the operations to perform operations either with the internal database or external database. Say I've taken private JPA student repository for this one, guys. For this one, JPA student repository and a repository. Okay. Reference name is repository. Means what? You're telling your container to create an object of, guys, you're telling your container to create an object of JPA repository. You're telling your container to create an object of JPA repository, and you're storing, that reference variable. You're storing that reference variable in the repository, variable. You can take R1, R2 if you don't want R3 reference variable. In that reference variable, using the reference variable, you can do a CRUD operations. Guys, now I have created a one test case. My test case name is test save student. Okay, I have just taken test save student. There will be one default test case already in the IDE. Okay, see here, which is annotated with at a test. Then test case name is context loads here. I will remove this context loads. I will add this one. Okay, my own test case name, that is test save. Okay, student. Guys, now what I will do is I want to store, I want to store the student table. I want to create the student table with 3 rows. I want to create the student table with 3 rows. The first row is ID, name, test score. I want to inject a one values into that. See guys, I am telling my see here student student is equals to new student. I am going to create an object for the student entity. Now see, there are setters and getters inside that student, okay, entity, right? I will set the values for all the three dependencies. Student dot set id. For set id I will give 11. Student dot set name Praveen. Student dot, okay, set test score 100. Now guys, means I am telling, I am creating one table there with the three columns called, okay, id, name, test score. For the three columns, I'm adding a values now. One time I'm adding a value 11, Praveen 100, and I'm using, see guys, student dot save. I'm using this one. This repository will provide us all the methods. Repository dot save method. Okay. Dot save. What is the parameter I'm giving? I am giving a parameter called student. Okay, guys, to see if the student table is really created and, okay, really created in the internal memory database called h2. This, okay, this will be no null. So there will be no null stored in this student. Okay, here to confirm that, I will use one of the, okay, test method called assert not null. Yesterday we have used this assert not null student to confirm, okay, whether in the student a value is stored or, okay, uh, see if it is really created. Student is equals to new student. In the student there will be a reference variable, and then there will be a, okay, table created, right? But here if it is not created, if student table is not created in the database, there will be null stored in that. To confirm whether null is stored or really created, we will use a test method called assert not null. Assert not null student. Guys, see here, what you have to do, you have to execute and see the test case. Guys, I'm executing this, okay, using internal memory database by creating entity jpa repository, because we will do a rest api. We will create one rest crud api in the, okay, next section there. Okay, we will see how to do it. Guys, let's go to the ide. I have a same program already. Okay, just delete this one. Guys, you can see whatever I have done, it's there already. See, this is your core, this is your entity. In the entity there is a student which we have, okay, created now, and there is a repository here, public interface jpa student repository extends jpa repository. And then guys, you can see here, I have also test class you have prepared. Okay, see the test class. Guys, now let's execute and see. Go to the, just right click on this test class, run as junit test, best allow access. Guys, you can see here, first thing, one test case we have prepared, one test case is created. We don't have any errors, we don't have any failures. Means what? Student table is successfully created in the, okay, database. You can see guys, in the internal memory database, the first thing, see guys, in the background hibernate will, okay, help us to create all this drop table if exist student case. Means before creating a student table there, first it will check whether the same table is present already in the, okay, already in the database or not. If exist, in the sense if the table with the same name exists, it will delete. Delete means a drop. Okay, drop table if exists student case. After that guys, create a table. You can see, create a table with how many, okay, columns here? Test score integer, means test score, id big int id, and name varchar primary key, and then primary key. Guys, here you can see it is also inserting values. Insert into student id name test hyphen score values. Okay, this is called, see, we were injecting the values in the sql query, right? Using by writing a sql query like this in the java program, and we were, okay, inserting a values. Guys, after that, okay, it will also, after performing all this, okay, it will delete the table at last. See guys, this is how you can work with a internal memory database called h2. Guys, any doubts here? Guys, that is nothing actually, because that is an internal memory database. Now we will how your JPA works. JPA help us to work with the external memory database called SQL. External memory database called SQL. We will see that, okay, using external memory database, because in internal memory database you cannot observe anything. Okay, I've just seen only the queries executed in the background, but whether table created successfully inserted there, you have to see the table also, right? See, for every execution, if you want to see that, okay, you have to use an external memory database, because we will have access for that. Guys, now we will go to the next topic called creating REST CRUD API. Okay, creating REST CRUD API. We are going to create a REST API to perform CRUD operations. To perform CRUD operations using JPA only. Guys, REST stands for representational state transfer. Okay, and it is a bunch of principle or architectural guidelines. Guys, REST API is implemented based on HTTP protocols. You might have okay got an idea about HTTP protocols already. We will get something called get, post, put. Okay, to download the data, to upload the data, or to modify the data in the web. Okay, so this REST API is implemented based on the HTTP protocols. Guys, HTTP is a very first RESTful principle, which is uniform interface and easy access. Okay, guys, this HTTP is a RESTful principle. It is an uniform interface and easy access just because of those. Okay, it will provide us a easy URIs for accessing a table or for changing the name in the table. Okay, HTTP provides a uniform interface to perform the CRUD operations using its HTTP methods, such as guys, HTTP protocol contains several methods like get, post, put, update, retrieve, and delete, etc. Okay, HTTP protocol is easy for access because it identifies the resources through URIs. Guys, uniform resource identifiers. Okay, we can access the from the web. You can access the any table or a content through the simple architecture of its URIs. See, for example, if I want to get the total employees present in the table, just a simple URI. Okay, just slash employees. For example, employees table is present in the database. From that, okay, I want to from the database, I want to access it in a web. I want to see it in the front end. So I can use a simple URI called slash employees. Okay. Yesterday, when I was executing web operations, I have localhost 8080 slash. I have given just one simple URI called hello, and it was mapping that request with a controller class using at request mapping annotation. Same here also. Your HTTP protocol contains a simple URIs to identify the resources from the web. So here, for example, there is an employees table in the database. Slash employees gives us the total number of employees in the employee table, and if there is a departments column there, slash departments will give us all the departments in which employees are working. See, in order to do a rest, sorry, guys, in order to use that REST API, you have to do a combination of, we have to perform combination of these HTTP methods with the, URIs. Okay, you see, we have to use the combination of HTTP methods. What are the HTTP methods? Get, post, put, update, delete, and URIs to perform CRUD operations. For example, for creating a employees table in the database, we use post. We use post HTTP method with this URI employees. Similarly, guys, for getting a reading the employee from the database, for employee, for example, in the database there is an employee table. From that employee table, I want the employee information with ID 1 or 2. Okay, with with whatever the ID we want, you can give, for example, get slash employees. You can get the you can give the ID name. Similarly, guys, see here, if you want to post the data, put employees slash IDE. If you want to delete the data, of particular employee, delete slash employees ID. So we have to use these HTTP methods, with the URIs. So we have to use a combination of both HTTP methods and the URIs in the REST CRUD API. Guys, the same methods, whatever the same methods I have created the last time for internal memory database, here also same. There will be a slight modifications. The first step. creating the Spring Boot project. Let's creating the Spring Boot project. Here, guys, you are doing a web application. First one, it is not a standalone application. You are doing a web application, and you are also using JPA. And see, instead of external memory database, you should select okay external memory database called MySQL. So while creating a project, you have to select three dependencies. Last time while creating a project, I have selected only two dependencies. One is JPA and H2. But here you have to select three. One is JPA is same. Instead of H2, you have to search for MySQL there. Okay, MySQL there because I am doing it. I am doing with a MySQL. Okay, external database. Since this is not a standalone application. If you are doing a web application, you have to select Spring Web. Spring Web, guys, very same. See, let's go to the let's go to the your STS. Go to the file, new. Okay, here you give Spring Starter project. Here you will give JPA REST API some name give you give here. Here, guys, when you're clicking on next, here you have to select. I'm telling first one is JPA. JPA is same. Okay, because I need a JPA API to establish the connection between your a Java application and external memory database. What is the external memory database called? External memory database called MySQL. Okay, you have to use a MySQL. So, and then I also want, guys, I am doing a web application here. So you have to search for Spring Web dependency. Guys, whenever you select these three dependencies, and if you click on finish, all those dependencies will be added up. Okay, all those dependencies will be added in the pom.xml file, and that will be picked by your Maven, and it will download it. Guys, let's come to the PPT. See here, first step is over. Okay, second step, same. You have to create an entity. Guys, I've created entity in the last program, right? Same way, you create an entity. This time, I will give for a change. I will give entity name as a product. I will give entity name as a product, guys. I will give entity name as a product. Guys, here I will mark that entity. I will mark that class with the entity annotation. Okay, because your JPA treats this class as an entity, and per entity it will perform a database operations. Guys, you have to also use one more annotation called at table. Guys, at table means, guys, in the database for this class product, we are creating a table. Okay, we are creating a table with the same name. Okay, that's why I will give at table name is equals to product. Okay, I will give name is equals to product. In the sense, for this entity product, we are creating a table in the database. We are creating a table in the database with the same columns. See, guys, for this product class, private int ID, private string name, okay, private string description, private int price, generate setters and getters method for this. Guys, you see one of these dependencies you have to annotate with at ID annotation. And guys, I have also taken one more extra annotation here at the generated value. Okay, it will take parameter strategy is equals to generation type dot identity. Guys, this annotation will be used to auto generate for auto incrementing your ID field. For auto incrementing your ID field, guys, if you don't want to take if you don't want to auto increment the ID field, okay, you can there is no need to take this generated value annotation, because see, I'm creating a table, right, with four columns: ID, name, description, and price. Here ID field, instead of taking 1 2 3 4 every time, it will be auto incremented. So for that auto incremented future, I have taken at generated value strategy is equals to generation type dot identity. If you don't want to auto increment, if you want to take there itself, okay, if you want to increment the ID field yourself, there is no need to take this annotation. Guys, this is an entity. So first, what is the first step you have done? You have created your Spring Boot project with three dependencies called Spring Web, Spring Data JPA, MySQL, and you have created your entity. And guys, come back here, creating the JPA repository. Okay, we have to create the JPA repository as well, isn't it? See guys, creating the JPA repository implementation class by implementing the JPA repository interface. We just now done, right? See, take an interface, extends, you have to search for JPA repository and it will expect the two parameters. The first parameter is entity name and the second parameter is the type of the dependency which you have annotated with @id annotation. What is the entity name? The entity name is product. And the type of that dependency which you have annotated with @entity annotation is, see here guys, @id annotation is, see here, integer. Okay, integer. So you have to give there two parameters. And again, guys, since we are doing here, since we are doing, let's see whether all those three dependencies are added because we have selected, okay, Spring Web, JPA. Okay, see guys, here I have created. Let's go to the everything here. Guys, this is my, okay, this is my entity and this is my JPA repository. Let's come to the pom.xml file. You see whether it is added or not. See here, Spring Boot Starter JPA, it is added. Okay, JPA dependency is added. Spring Boot Starter Web is also added. Guys, you have to also select, okay, one of the, you have to also give one of the, okay, dependency here for MySQL connector. Okay, that MySQL connector you have to search in the web. Okay, you have to search in the web. You have to copy that and paste it here. Okay, for that, guys, let's go to the PPT. Somewhere I should have its dependency, how to search it. How many dependencies totally? One is Spring Boot Starter Parent, Starter JPA, okay, Spring Boot, okay, Starter Web, okay, fine, MySQL connector.java. You can see, guys, I've taken three dependencies, right? Okay, one, while creating a project, I have selected JPA, Spring Web, MySQL. So see, JPA dependency is added in the pom.xml file. Since we are doing a web application, a corresponding dependency is added here. There we have also taken MySQL, right? Because I want to do operations on MySQL database. So MySQL connector.java with version 8.0.26 will be, this dependency will be also added in the pom.xml file. So totally you have selected three dependencies while creating a project and three dependencies will be successfully added. Guys, after this, see here, you have updated your pom.xml file by selecting a, okay, dependencies there. You have prepared your, you have prepared your entity class, you have prepared your product class. Since we are doing, okay, a web operation, you have to prepare your controller. Okay, you have to prepare your controller class. Guys, you can see here, everything I have stored in separate classes. com.praveen. Okay, restcrad API dot controller. Okay, dot repo dot entities. In the dot entities package, I have stored my entity. Okay, in the dot repos package, I have stored my, okay, repository. In the dot controller, I have stored my controller class. Guys, let's come here. There is a controller class. You can see here, guys, at rest controller. See, yesterday I've prepared at rest at one controller, right? Controller class. Okay, using controller class, you can map your request, okay, with the web. See here, we have yesterday we have annotated with at request mapping and, okay, at rest controller also. See here, guys, I have prepared one controller class. The class name is product rest controller. Product rest controller. I'm annotating that with at request mapping. At request mapping. And here as a parameter, I am giving an extension called /API. Okay, /API in the sense when you're, Guys, you can see here, public class product REST controller is a class name. I am annotating with at request mapping slash API. See, why we have to use this annotation? Because whenever we are typing a URI in the web, you have to map this. You have to map that request with our controller class with the extension called slash API. So when we are writing URI there, you have to give a slash API and REST controller. Since we are using REST API, you have to use a annotation called at REST controller. It provides the bridge. It provides the bridge between our controller class and the web. Guys, here you can see product repository. See here, what is my interface name? Product repository. Product repository. You are creating. See here, for that, come to the controller class. You're telling your container to create an object of product repository and you're storing it in the repository reference variable. Using this repository reference variable, guys, you can do any operation. Repository date, see here, repository dot find all, repository dot find by ID, repository dot save, repository dot save. See here, for save there is a post method and put method also. See, post method is just to create a product, create a one new column or a product in the table, but put method is used to update. I will show you. And for delete, for delete ID is there, means repository dot delete ID. Guys, now we have created own methods here for every HTTP method. Public, guys, here public, list product. The return type is list product. The method name is get products. Method name is get products. Inside this method, see here, for get products, for getting products from the database into the web, into the web, in the repository, you have a method called find all. You have a method called find all. This is your own method name, guys, get products. And get products, see, you're giving a list of, I want the return type called list of products. But if I want this property inside this repository, there is a one method called find all. Find all. See, return repository dot find all from the web, guys. From the web, I'm mapping now. I'm mapping my URI with the controller class. At request mapping, value is equals to there. If you want to get the products in the web, you have to give a slash products. And corresponding HTTP method is get. Corresponding HTTP method is get. See, if you want to get the information from the server, you have to use a HTTP method for get. Method is equals to request method dot get. Similarly, guys, for I want to get the product by IDE. See, this first method is getting the whole table itself, but I want to get the one product with one IDE. So you have to give a path variable there. Public return type is only one product. Method name is get product. Since we are trying to read the one product with IDE, with particular IDE, you have to give a path variable. At path variable is equals to you have to use an annotation called at path variable. It takes the parameter with double inverted comma IDE. The type you have to give int IDE. See, it will return repository dot find IDE. Inside the repository API, there is one method called find by IDE dot get. Find by IDE dot get. And in the web, if you want to see, again, you have to map it. At request mapping value is equals to slash products slash IDE. Method is equal. So see, guys, method is same. Here also get HTTP method. Here also get HTTP method. But in the first one, you can read whole table itself, from the web. But here you can read only by IDE. Similarly, guys, if you want to create a new product, it will create a new product as well as it will also return the same product created. You can also take it as void. If you want public void, if I take, it will just create a product, but created product will not be returned, for confirmation. But now for every created product, I want, return type, whether product is created or not in the postman. So here public product create product, guys, at request body, you're creating a product. So you have to give take annotation called at request body product same. Return repository dot save method. For creating a new product, there is a dot save method present in the repository. See, guys, every time I am using one new method in the repository, means what? Repository is a now API which is providing so many methods to perform a CRUD operations. That's why using which we have constructed this repository using JPA, right? Using JPA API. Okay. See guys, here again for saving a product here, for post and put both for saving means for creating a product only, but for post using post HTTP method you just create a product, but using put you can update the product which you have already created. For that repository dot save and at request mapping value is equals to products method is equals to request method dot put. Finally guys, you can also delete by IDE. See here, public void delete product at path variable. Okay, delete by ID. Wherever with by IDE comes, you have to take a path variable annotation and whose type also. Repository dot delete by IDE. Okay, and the HTTP method is equals to request method dot delete. Guys, here in order to access this guys, okay, using REST API, you have to use a postman, because from the postman you are sending a JSON response. From the postman you are sending a JSON response, and whenever you send the JSON response from the postman, you can see the output in the SQL database as well as the web. And before that guys, see, you have created your entity class, you have created your repository, product repository, and you have also created your controller class. Guys, with this, you have to also give, okay, configurations in the application.properties file. Guys, because I'm doing with external memory database, not internal memory database. So I have to give here class name, driver name, username, password, everything. Guys, for a change, see, by default, every Spring Boot application will run in the a Tomcat server with the default port number 8080. So every Spring Boot application will run in the Tomcat server, okay, but with the default port number called 8080. Okay, but here I will also show you how to change the port number. See guys, if you want to change the port number, you can use server.port is equals to your port number. I want to execute this in 8081 port. So you can give server.port is equal to 8081. And what is the platform I want to see the output here. Since I'm dealing with external memory database, spring dot data source dot platform is equals to MySQL. Guys, this is a driver class name, com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. Guys, this is a URL of my JDBC driver. Okay, JDBC, your JDBC, JDBC hyphen, okay, MySQL hyphen localhost. This is a port number where MySQL database is running. 3306 hyphen Praveen. I will show you this port number when I'm opening. This is my username and this is my password, and DDL commands means JPA also executes. Okay, I want JPA also executes several queries in the background. Okay, now to enable that feature for using Hibernate, you have to give a spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl. Okay, auto is equals to update. And since I want to see that, okay, all those queries, I have to give spring.jpa.show SQL, okay, is equals to true. These many things you have to, okay, configure. Okay, guys, after that, see, first one, you have to first open the postman, because from the postman only you have to, okay, from the postman itself you have to send your JSON response. 1 minute. Okay guys, there is a postman here. Guys, before this, okay, postman, what we can do is run this first. Since it is a web application, you have to run it in a server first. Okay, so I will run it in a server. How can we run it in a server? Guys, just right click on this, right click on your project name, run as Spring Boot app. You can see the okay, yesterday we were running one application, right, in 8080 port. today we will run this REST API, okay, application in 8081, okay, port. Guys, run this app in a, see, allow access, allow access. See guys, you can see in the console, here in the console, you can see Tomcat started on port 8081. Okay, Tomcat started on port 8081. In that started your application, Spring Boot REST CRUD API application. It is so presently in the Tomcat server in the port 8081, your application Spring Boot REST CRUD API application is running. Guys, let's go to the, okay, let's go to the Postman. Okay, let's go to the Postman. Let's go to the web first. What we can do is, guys, local host. See now, 1 minute. Let's also open, okay, our SQL, MySQL database. Guys, MySQL workbench, I will go, MySQL workbench. Guys, you can see here, localhost 3306. It is running in 3306. That's why I have taken there, okay, 3306. You just click on that. You give, okay, your password. Make sure that there is no, okay, a product table is there, okay. See, if product table is there, first delete it. Delete the, okay, table first, because without table we will see what we will get in the web. Guys, now let's come to the web. Localhost, see guys, localhost 8081/API/products. Okay, means, see, /API, that is the extension we have taken in our controller class, right? See here in the request mapping, let's go to the controller class here. In the request mapping, I have taken /API here. Okay, a extension I have taken to give it in the URL. Now I'm giving localhost 8081/API/ I am taking this one, products. I'm taking this one, means what? I'm trying to get the products. Okay, I'm trying to get all the products. Okay, which is saved in the database. Now guys, see, there is no product table created in the database still, but still I want to access it from the web. Okay, let us see what we will get here. We will get, okay, a white label error. Control C. Let's copy it. Control C. Let's go to the Postman. Localhost 8081/products. Guys, I am getting an empty. I should actually get an empty table here. I will just get an empty braces here because product table is not created yet. But let's see, well, let's create a product. Okay, and then, okay, let's see that. Guys, let's go to the post. For creating a product, what we have to do, guys, for creating a product, you have to go for the in controller class. Let's go to the controller class in your, okay, IDE. And here you have to get, for creating a product, you can use either post method for creating a product, and put method for updating a product. Let's go to the IDE. Okay, Postman. Let's go to the Postman, send a JSON response. Guys, how do we, okay, create a how do we send a JSON response in the sense? Let's go to the body here. You should select raw and you should select a JSON here. We will have so many formats like test, JavaScript, JSON, HTML, XML. I want to send a JSON response to my controller class. Okay, and you should select raw here. And whatever the response you want to send, okay, you should type it here. Okay, you should type it here. And here, see, localhost 808081/API/products. Okay, you check the URL in the controller class. Let's go to the controller class. You should check the URL for post method. Okay, /products. /products is the extension. First extension is API. Second extension is /products, and rest everything is same. And you have to select. You have to select post here. You have to select here post. Okay. Now send the JSON response. I'm getting an error. Control C. Let's go and check whether everything is saved or not. And in form.xml it is saved. Let's run it in the, let's restart the application. Yes. Guys, let's copy this one. Let's copy this one. Shit. Go to the web, paste it, and check it. Guys, see here, I am getting an empty. See now, because product table, I am trying to, okay, fetch the products here. I am going to fetch the products created in the, okay, a product table. Product table is not there in the, okay, product table is not there in the SQL database at all, but still I am fetching from the front end. I am going to fetch this from the web. Since it is not there, it will give you an empty. So first what we have to do is we have to create the product. First we have to create the product table in the database, and you can add the values. You can add the values using HTTP methods, and you can update the values. You can delete the values. So before that, what we have to do is we have to create a product table. Guys, see here. First, I will activate my, okay, first I will take a new file. I will take a new SQL file here. Okay, guys, here I will activate my database. My database is Praveen here. I will activate in new file. Use Praveen. Guys, select this, execute this SQL query. See, activated. Guys, you have to create a product table. And here for a change, I am taking my ID field as an auto increment because I have taken generated value, right? Okay, I will take it as an auto increment. Okay, field for ID. See guys, create table product. Okay, ID int. auto increment primary key means whatever the primary key I have taken with annotation called .id there, I want to auto increment in the table called product here. Name varchar same, description varchar, price decimal. In the first class in the Spring, okay, when I was discussing about Spring framework, I have shown you how to create a table in the database. Okay, create a table product. Okay, if you don't want to auto increment ID field, you can take out this future. Since I have taken generated value, okay, annotation there. Okay, just because of that, I have taken ID int auto increment primary key, same name, description, price. Name is of type varchar of 20 characters, description varchar, price decimal. Okay, see guys, now I have created a product table, but nothing is there here in the product table. Okay, just created product table. I have not inserted any values in this. If you want to see, okay, what is there in the product table, you know how to, okay, execute the query. Select star from the product. Okay, select star from the product is the query, right? Select star from you should give your product name. It's a table name. See guys, select star from product. First create a product table. Okay, execute this query. There is some error. Already product table or executes or what? Now select star from product. See guys, product table, you can see ID, description, name and price, everything is empty. Now let us insert a values from the JSON response by by sending JSON response to your controller class. Let us insert a values, and all these values you can access from the web. So let us insert a values. How do we insert a values? Means inserting values in the sense creating a product. For creating a product, which method you have to use? Okay, you have to use a post method. Guys, you have to use a post method for creating a product. Okay, guys, this is the idea. This is the link web address you have to select here, and then guys, you have to select a body raw. Okay, a response is a JSON response. Yeah, I am sending JSON response to my controller class, guys. Okay, guys, what is the first product? If you want to send any product, you have to type a code like this here. How many fields I have? ID field, name field, description field, price field. Okay, in the entity class, right? You should take in the double inverted comma, IDE colon 1. Okay, since it is integer, only 1 comma. Next field is name, again double inverted comma colon. In the double inverted comma, you have to take a bike here. Description, again double inverted comma, bike is ordinary, and price. Description I am just giving, bike is just bike is just ordinary. Price I am giving, okay, 100 rupees. Bike price is just I am taking 100 rupees. Send the JSON response. Guys, you can see here, if your response is sent successfully, you will get a code called status 200. Okay, and whatever the data you have sent there, you will get it in the output here also. ID, name, bike. Okay, bike is ordinary, price. Let's go to the web, guys. Let's go to the web here. You can execute the same once again. You can execute the same once again. You can see here, I'll get add. Okay, name, bike, description, bike is ordinary, price. Let's go to the SQL. Let's go to the MySQL database. Okay, and also check whether that information is added in the product table or not. Just you have select this query once again. Select star from the product, execute it. Guys, you can see here, one bike is ordinary. Okay, bike 100. Okay, similarly guys, you can just create 3 more columns. I'll go to the postman once again. I'll give this as a 2. I will give car. Okay, I will give car is good. Car is good. I will give price as 300 rupees. I will give price as 300 rupees. Send the JSON response. Guys, now give this one as 3. I will give flight. Okay, I will just give flight is better. Okay, I will give price as 500 rupees. Send the JSON response. Okay, and give So guys, three times I have sent a JSON response. Let's check, okay, whether we got all those in the backend by executing, okay, by giving a command localhost 8080/API/products. Guys, you can see here ID1 bike, ID2 car, okay, ID3 name flight. Let's also give one, okay, one more response called train. Okay, for example, I will give another, okay, product name as train. Description is train is good. Okay, you give price as, for example, 900 rupees. Send the JSON response. Okay, and let's check it in the web. See guys, I'm getting name bike, first product, second product, name car, third product, name flight, fourth product, name train, and everything I'm getting. Let's go to the SQL. Let's go to the MySQL database. Let's check whether all those are inserted, okay, in the external database or not. Guys, you can see bike is ordinary, bike is good, bike is better. Okay, bike, car, flight, train, and everything, okay, inserted successfully. Here guys, this is creating a product. Okay, you have created a product using post. Okay, using post, you can see, you can come back to the IDE. How many HTTP methods you have used in your controller class? You have used first HTTP method. Okay, you have used a first HTTP method that is called post. Okay, post for creating a products. If I use just get slash, okay, see, if I use just only slash products, I will get all the products here. See, I'm using in the web, I am using only slash products here. I'm getting all the, for example, by IDE you can search. Okay, by IDE you can search. That is also get HTTP method only, but URL changes. That is /1. For example, I want, okay, product information with IDE name 1. Okay, see, I will get it. If I give 2 here, if I give 2 here, I will get it. See here, by IDE also you can search it. You give 3 here, I will get it, isn't it? See guys, by IDE you got it, and remaining 2 are remaining 2 are put method and delete method. Using put method, you can update the product. Okay, you can update the product. Guys, for put method, let's go to the, okay, this one. Let's go to this one. See here, select put here, select put. For example, in the same, what I have given, third is a plane, right? Third is a flight I have given. Third one is a flight. Okay. And there I have taken flight is a better. I will take flight is excellent here. Flight is excellent. Means, see guys, let's come back to your, okay, MySQL database here. See, I have taken third one. Okay, third IDE. Flight is a, I have taken flight is a better for flight. Okay, for flight product, I have taken description is a flight is a better, but now I am changing it to flight is an excellent. For same, okay, IDE name, flight is an excellent. Okay, I will also change it to, I will also change it to 700. Okay, I will also change it to 700. Send the JSON response. Guys, let's go to your web. Okay, let's execute this. See, I'm getting flight is excellent. Let's go to the database. Okay, execute this. See, I'm getting flight is excellent. Means post is for creating a product. Put is for, okay, put is for updating the product, and you can also delete by IDE. Guys, you can also delete by IDE. Let's go to the web there. Okay, if you want to delete, first go to the postman. You can also delete it. Just select delete by IDE. For example, I want to delete a, okay, see, just if you send a JSON response for that, I want to delete a first IDE, for example, delete by IDE. See, I will get a JSON response as 1 there. Let's go to the web. Let's go to the web. See, you cannot see in the web whether it is deleted or not. Let's go to the SQL. First, what is the thing you have deleted there? You have deleted a third one. You have deleted your third one, right? See, let's go to the, you have, sorry, you have deleted first one. Local HTTP localhost 8080.1/API products/1. Okay, you have deleted your first one. Let's go to the MySQL database. Let's check it. Guys, you can see here, first, okay, first description, first product is deleted. I want to similarly delete a fourth one. I want to similarly delete a fourth one there. Send the JSON response. You got response as one there. Okay, and then let's go to the MySQL database. Execute once again. See guys, fourth one is also deleted. This is by deleting IDE. Guys, this is nothing but REST CRUD API using JPA. Guys, any doubts? Guys, if no doubts, I'll end my session here. And this will be my last class for your batch. Okay. Thank you guys.